Listen. We're on iHeartRadio now, bro.
We're on iHeartRadio. We're gonna be famous.
I saw that. That's a big deal. Look out, Howard Stern.
Yeah, we're gonna be famous.
Now, does that mean we can be more racy or less? How does that work?
I think we have to go corporate, and we have to. We have to keep it, because I mean we have so many kids with the little donuts out there that follow the podcast.
So that's why we had to move this a little earlier to get them before they're
ready. Yeah, there you go.
Right. Yeah. One of the hottest toys this year is a Coach Warzu doll.
I thought you were going to say the Joey Bag of Donuts action figure, the pop doll.
There are action figures. Yeah, there's action figures. There's a little microphone, a
podcast beginner set.
Yeah.
Little podcast. My first little podcast.
My first podcast. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Donut Bag, part of the Pulse Podcast Network and the Pod Hub Network. In this episode, I recap Week 13 in the NFL with regulars Mark Hagelauer and Coach Warzu, plus we vent some more about the Steelers. As always, please follow or subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to this, and soon we'll be available on iHeartRadio, so look for us there. The Donut Bag starts right now. All right, now for our weekly talk, where we review what happened in the NFL this past weekend, and in particular with the Steelers. I have regulars Mark Hagelauer and Coach Warzu. What's up, guys?
What's going on, guys?
How's it going?
Way too much.
Still getting over that debacle.
So it's been okay. I was gonna say it hasn't been 24 hours. It's been less than 24 hours because the game didn't start 24 hours ago. But still, it's been. I'm still
sleep on it, and you can still feel the fire burning when you wake up today.
Oh yeah, I'm still angry, upset. What are the stages of grief? I'm in the anger stage right now. That's for darn sure.
I'm mad at everybody, from the officials to the coaches for the second half to the players.
Mark has been looking forward to this all day to vent.
I don't want to disappoint. I should have you just hit the bleep button and pull like a Dice Clay type of.
Yeah, listen. We're on iHeartRadio now, bro.
We're on iHeartRadio. We're gonna be famous.
I saw that. That's a big deal. Look out, Howard Stern.
Yeah, we're gonna be famous.
Now, does that mean we can be more racy or less? How does that work?
I think we have to go corporate, and we have to. We have to keep it, because I mean we have so many kids with the little donuts out there that follow the podcast.
So that's why we had to move this a little earlier to get them before they're
ready. Yeah, there you go.
Right. Yeah. One of the hottest toys this year is a Coach Warzu doll.
I thought you were going to say the Joey Bag of Donuts action figure, the pop doll.
There are action figures. Yeah, there's action figures. There's a little microphone, a
podcast beginner set.
Yeah.
Little podcast. My first little podcast.
My first podcast.
It's either that or the McDonald's drive-through.
Happy Meal toys.
Little Tykes, the little Tykes drive-through.
Yeah. So I asked. I made a poll. Who is most to blame for the Steelers' loss?
This is easy.
Was it the refs? Was it the coaches? Was it the offense or the defense? What do you guys think?
Yo, this is easy. Listen, it's none of the above. Look.
Okay.
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. and then fool me 3 times, it's shame on Filipponi.
Yes.
We
Goodness.
should have saw this coming.
It's funny. It's
He
like
says it's going to be an easy win. We lose.
They
I
should
tell you
he should
what.
be exempt from like picking any Steeler games the rest of the year, I think.
Seriously, that guy is money in the bank.
The opposite.
I knew it. Why?
There is no investment opportunity. There is no gambling expert. There is nobody is better at predicting things than that guy. If you predict the opposite of Pony, I wish I would have done that. I'd be sticking with it now.
At least you'd have some sort of benefit from the Steelers' collapse.
Oh, I mean,
the
he's a
second half.
regular on Freezing Cold Takes Twitter page, I think. At this point.
It's amazing. He is money every time. Whatever he says, the exact opposite happens.
It's funny because at least you want to do things to be controversial and go against maybe like the fan base to get callers in, but occasionally you want to actually be right.
Exactly.
I would think. I mean, if you know what you're talking about.
He is literally the Skip Bayless of Pittsburgh.
Yes.
Is he punking us?
Gotta be.
He can't be serious. There is nobody in the history. I feel like there's nobody in the history of gambling that has went on a streak like this.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Every gambling expert is just would die to have his numbers.
It reminds me of the scene in Goodfellas. Or is that a Bronx Tale? No, that's a Bronx Tale, I believe.
Where they're gambling in the basement.
No, where they're at the track and they got.
They're basically the same guy. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I mean, that's who Filipponi is. I mean, no matter what he says, like you say, it's literally the opposite.
Well, that scene in the basement, he put him in the bathroom with the other guys that are all bad luck.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. So Pony wasn't an option. Many people said, why can't you have all of the above as an option? Anyway, right now, 40% say it was the defense's fault. 28% say refs. 21% say coaching, and 11% say offense. I have to agree.
What about special teams?
Oh yeah,
that's why it was one part of it. Yeah, I mean,
listen, guys. Somebody today, we're standing around waiting to get into practice, and one of my players is talking about, they're talking about the game, and they're talking about how we lost, and I said, guys, like nobody's talking about Boswell like missing extra points, and they said,
1 point would have been nice at the end there.
Yeah,
I mean, it completely changes the game, and he says, well, he may only missed 1 extra point. I mean, well, when you're getting paid that much money to kick footballs,
you shouldn't be missing extra points.
I mean,
you had one job. My God, that's the only job you have, is to kick the ball. So do it well, you jerk. Oh,
I mean,
man.
We're approaching Pedro Alvarez status right now on the football field, where you can't make the throw to. It's essentially like him not being able to make the throw.
He was all right during the winning streak. I mean, he was fine since then, but man, like you said, one's too many for an extra point. The field goals, that's one thing, but
he makes some of them, but man.
Although the other guy did miss one last night too, so. And he missed another one that should have been.
He missed a bunch at the end technically, but then again, when the entire team is offsides,
except for the first one, that was very, very, very. I don't know.
Listen, man, if you got a T-shirt and a nickname and are making millions off of a contract extension, start knocking down freaking extra points.
Yeah,
how about that?
Yeah, do your job.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. You know who should have came out?
Jeff Reed.
Jeff Reed got a big contract.
All you need to do is put a big towel dispenser right in the middle of the goalposts. Jeff Reed would have knocked the heck out of that.
That's who Sean Rodriguez was imitating.
Exactly.
That one faithful playoff game, Jeff Reed, giving him to Jeff Reed.
Oh my craziness! Yeah, I would think. I mean, I think I think the coaching and the defense can kind of be one, like I said, replied to that poll, because the second half adjustments were just, they adjusted well to what the Steelers were doing, because the first half it was fine. Second half it just turned to crap, and that's because they had took advantage of a scheme flaw, which has linebackers on a receiver, which other teams did the beginning of the year. The better teams seem to be able to exploit it, so they got to watch that in the playoffs or come playoff this last run here.
Yeah, the Keenan Allen thing just boggles my mind. Someone got into an argument with me today and said, "Oh yeah, well, everybody's saying that they shouldn't have linebackers on them, but they were doing just as well as the cornerbacks that were covering them." Well, they both sucked. Do something.
Yeah, I mean, you can't
adjust to it.
Well, that's the thing with the linebacker on those short. I mean, Rivers did a good job. The Steelers were close to getting them like 10, 12 times last night, and Rivers did a good job of finding those check down guys, which they had open because they had them against the linebackers, and they pretty much know that the linebackers for the Steelers, minus Watt, who's pretty athletic, but Bostic and Williams aren't hanging with any of those guys. So they're going to dump that off, and at the very least, they don't get a sack. They get maybe 5 or 6 yards. But, once you put Allen in there, there's the ability to have someone miss a few tackles and get some first downs. And that's basically what they did all third quarter. They, had one long drive. And I think that just changed everything. The momentum, the defense was tired.
Yeah. We could sit here and talk about scheme and all this stuff, but how do we not have the playmakers, especially in the defensive backfield at this point? Look at the Chargers. You got Derwin James, you got Bosa, they got some decent guys in the defensive backfield, and then look at Dallas. Speaking of a team that we got to play coming up soon here, and how they stopped New Orleans.
Yeah.
They said it best on the Fan. They're gonna. This is the tape teams are going to look at to beat New Orleans, but you got to have the guys.
New Orleans,
the linebackers that Dallas had, and that defense is we don't have the playmakers, I don't think, that Dallas has on defense.
That's the problem. They spent first-round draft picks on defense for how many years now, and what do they have to show for it?
They're the outside linebackers relatively good, the defensive line relatively good, but the middle linebackers and the corners, aside from Hayden in the secondary, are very suspect.
And Tuitt can't stay healthy. Tuitt cannot stay on the field.
And they paid him a lot of money.
Yeah, he played yesterday though, right?
He played yesterday, but it's this is one of those times now where in 2 weeks he'll be on the shelf for 2 weeks again.
Right.
Maybe.
Right.
We'll see what happens.
You're right. He's always almost always hurt with something.
He's always kind of banged up enough to affect them. Not where he's gonna be out for a season, but he was a couple years ago for a long period. But it always seems like he's got that pull, something with his shoulder or his arm or his elbow.
Listen, availability. You got to be. You could be the greatest player in the world, but if you're never on the field, it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
They can, and even when they do make plays, right now they're not bouncing their way.
That's tough.
They had three batted down balls that just bounced to the ground. The one bounced up in the air. Watt just missed it. Then you go and have an interception that your own guy knocks out of your hands, which.
That was the game right there in a nutshell. That was
just missed opportunities. And,
the refs missing egregious, egregious calls. Not saying that's who we should be blaming, but that's part of it.
Well, if your offensive line, it's hard to get pressure when your offensive line's allowed to take 2 steps back before you can even move for the first half. It was happening since the first drive, and we were yelling at the TV, and then the real blatant one, and getting into the ref thing, not blaming them because the Steelers still had a lead at the end of the half after all that. But the odd thing about that was that they were basically, if you count the field goal, which was very suspect that they were offsides or not, that's 17 points that basically missed calls led to directly on those plays. That rarely happens. If you have a missed call, it usually halts a drive or something, or maybe, and then you have to punt. That was just crazy. I've never seen anything like that.
It's especially the false start and the block in the back that led to 2
Oh,
touchdowns.
that block. Yeah, that's another special teams one that probably shouldn't happen because he's running down. The guy's like kind of he was holding him the whole way down too. They just